Okay, so we already got a little bit into incentives, valorization, differentiation in the market. And that's what we will be discussing in the next block. And we will start with the presentation of Mario Passoni from Friend of the Sea.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, you can hear me. Thank you very much for inviting me. So today I'm going to talk about from research to certification, how Friend of the Sea is turning welfare standards into practices. So before I just want to tell you who we are and what we do. Our main society is called the World Sustainability Organization that is virtually based in Italy, and it has two main projects, Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth. Our certification schemes for sustainable products and services coming from fishing activities, farming, as well as agriculture. There is also our own foundation, which is called World Sustainability Foundation, that I personally lead. The target is a little bit different, since we try to protect biodiversity, support local communities through conservation and awareness projects. So, what we are doing, in the last 4 years, we have been part of a fish welfare care catch fish project, and our aim was to assess global animal welfare impacts in fisheries, to identify how to reduce suffering in different fishing methods and species, analyze the economic and social feasibility of proposed improvements, raise awareness of both the problems and solutions, and finally, to create standards of certification for fisheries about welfare, fish welfare. So we created our standards of certification based on the reports that yesterday Pedro was talking about. So 5 different fishing methods were assessed on bottom set gill nets, purseines, pots and traps, long lines, and pole and line. Let me tell you how it's complicated to create a standard of certification from zero. So in my experience, and I'm working in this field since 2018, the most complicated part is to, of course, in this case, translate scientific results into the language of certification. But then, the most complicated part is to find out how to make the requirement be feasible for fisheries and fishermen. And this is very hard because we can write requirements that are perfectly aligned to fish welfare, but in practice are not applicable. So it's complicated. And just to let you know, what we have created, 5 standards of certification, are applicable for both small-scale and large industrial fleets. To create these standards of certification, we used the reports. We have read them carefully, and we decided to focus on fishing methods, because in the past we had a similar project about aquaculture farms, and we focused on species. So we were able to create 24 species-specific standards, but in aquaculture it was so much easier. Oh, really, so much easier than fisheries. So we decided to simplify as much as possible, and we focused on fishing methods. By reading the reports and talking with the partners from Sisimar, Fairfish, Ito Groups, and so on, we decided to create different sections in our standards of certification. The first one on capture, the second one on onboarding handling, and the third one on stunning and slaughter. In addition to this, we decided to add a section to bycatch, because we believe it's really, really important, and yesterday someone talked about it. And also about training, because you know, it's difficult, it's challenging, because we start from zero, basically. So we need, is super important to train the fishermen, the staff involved in the operation about fish welfare. Our criteria, our requirements are listed, classified in two ways. There are essential requirements and recommendation. The essential requirements are fundamental and mandatory to achieve a certification. If a fishery is not aligned with one or more than one essential requirements, we give time to them and help in order to get aligned. With regards to the recommendation, are not mandatory for certification and are the requirements that we want to assess more with time. So it means that usually, for example, we assess 100 reports, we assess the recommended requirements, and we find out how many fisheries and aquaculture farms are aligned with these requirements, if they are feasible or not. And then we can change the level of the requirements from recommended to essential. In this project, the testing phase is fundamental. Where are we now? We created the first standards of certification, but it's just the beginning. We need to test now. Test on the field with fishermen and so on. So in the last 12 months, I and my colleague Andrea, we visited some fisheries among Italy and Albania, and we talked with the director, we talked especially with fishermen. And was not easy to show and to say to them what to do about fish welfare. But was interesting because it's fundamental to have feedback from the persons directly involved in this operation. And it's also complicated to let them understand how is important to consider the fish welfare. In my experience, some of them are willing to and they are interested. Others are not really interested. But this is the truth, and they need time to digest what we are asking for, because it's something brand new. But this happened also in the past with sustainability. They need time. We all need time. Then now we are in the improving phase. So we already contacted some fisheries around the world, and we have an agreement with some fisheries from Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Azores, Italy, Albania, Maldives, and Sri Lanka to go and test and apply our requirements on their operation. So how it will work? I will go with my colleague Andrea, and I will visit and speak with fishermen and so on, and we will make a pre-analysis about their level of fish welfare. How to say, I don't know, maybe it's correct like this, by the way. And then we will train them with the help of experts. And the next step is to certify them. But not only. Part of our work, and is really, really important, is also to make awareness. Because we cannot only focus on fisheries and fishermen, we have also to promote what is happening through consumers. So at the same time, we have a strategy to communicate to consumers about the fish welfare. Because if there is not a request from consumers, it cannot work. Going in the details, but not too much, here is how we decided to create some of our requirements. So this is a screenshot from one of the reports created by our partner. It's about Persane, and this is about hauling. So there were and are written information about hauling, and these reports are publicly available, so you can, whenever you want, go download it and read it. And based on what was written, we created the first requirements. This one, oh, you are the very first looking at our new requirements, because this is still not publicly available. So the first requirement is reducing all-in time as much as possible. So we discussed internally a lot about what does it mean as much as possible. We don't have a real answer right now. And that's why we needed to test and visit fishermen, fisheries and so on, because we have to be more precise. And this is going to happen with time and experience. Another example is about onboard handling. So as you can see here is written, the handling time itself related to the removal of fish from its natural environment and its prolonged air exposure. And then the sorting activities, which adds extra time to these procedures and sums up to a possible impact on fish welfare. This is very important. So we created these requirements. First of all, in general, for each section, we ask for a procedure, to create a procedure about how to handle all of this. So the requirements we created is during catch collection, fishers are required to handle the catch with care to minimize injuries. There is also a section, about parameters and information to explain better the requirements. Time flies. And we created also an audit guidance to provide fishermen and auditors with additional information about it. And then there is a requirement about minimize air exposure and minimize the time of sorting activities. Based on the data we will collect, we can be more precise and eventually change the text and add parameters to this. Then there is a section about stunning and slaughter, and what we created is use of appropriate and effective stunning tools by trained staff. So again, the training is fundamental. And yeah, I'm in time now. That's it, but just one request. We are looking for collaborations from Fishermen Association, fisheries, retailers. Retailers, in our opinion, are fundamental to make it happen. And also from about equipment to improve fish welfare. So if you want to collaborate with us, if you want to talk with us, we are open to do it. Please consider that by counting the fisheries that are collaborating right now with us, that are at the moment 7, we are impacting annually 2 million tons of fish caught. And this number will increase. So we are talking about huge numbers and a lot of stuff involved. Thank you very much.